Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive videoscopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of March 28, 2021. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week, without a doubt. And the star of the show, in many ways, is the full moon. Right out of the gate, as we begin the week, we have a full moon in the sign of Libra. Now, there are a few things that make this full moon especially distinctive. Yes, it's taking place in the sign of Libra, the sign of partnerships, of sharing, and of love as well. The give and take that is involved in getting to know another person and being known by another is what the energy in the sign of Libra represents. But it isn't just Libra, it's its opposite sign, Aries, that is also lit up in important ways now. And this represents an axis. So what I mean by that is all signs operate on opposites. It's sort of like the same energy, but opposite spectrums of the same energy. Each sign has its opposite sign. And in this way, there are 6 pairs, 12 signs altogether. And it is Libra and Aries that operate as opposites. But of course, because they're on the same axis, they have their similarities. Aries is said to be the sign of the first breath. That comes from Dane Rudyard, one of the great godfathers of psychological astrology. And he believed that the energy of Aries does represent that very first breath that we take. It's the first impulse. And in that way, the energy of Aries is thought or conceptualized to be impulsive. But it's highly independent. It is one of self-trust, and it is one of the feeling of life itself. And then we have this full moon opposite in the sign of Libra that stands as contrast to the independent, self-sufficient energy of Aries, in that it is about considering other perspectives, considering another point of view, and considering someone else alongside with what it is that you may be thinking or feeling or experiencing. And so we have the full moon, yes, in the sign of Libra. That's going to highlight relationships of all kinds. And I think all of us in some way are reaching a turning point, a moment of clarity, and reaching a choice, making a decision that fuels self-respect. And a part of the reason for that is the fact that Saturn is speaking in supreme harmony with this full moon. It is trine the full moon. Saturn right now is in one of its home signs. It is traditional ruler of Aquarius. That's where it is. And Aquarius is sort of stereotypically thought to be detached, right? It's able to evaluate things more empirically, more scientifically, void of emotion. That isn't really the case, of course. If you know any Aquarians out there, you know they have plenty of emotion. It's just that they're able to see them. They're able to separate themselves from emotion, or at the very least, they're able to separate themselves enough to know what they're thinking, what the evidence is showing, what may be a more rational decision, but also what they're feeling, what they really want to do. And it is that ability to detach that is part of the Aquarian gift, and part of what is highlighted with Saturn and Aquarius now. Now, this energy of Saturn and Aquarius, we had plenty of it in and out of the sign of Aquarius in 2020. Now we are fully in Saturn and Aquarius, and Saturn will stay in Aquarius right until March of 2023. So in one way or another, all of us are going to continue to learn about healthy detachment, looking at the evidence, being willing to consider what our decisions might be if it was that we took emotion out of it. Emotion has richness to it, absolutely. Emotion allows us to live that much more fully, to be engaged with our life that much more fully, and not only in our heads. It's just that emotion is a gift, and so is rationality. So the Aries energy this week, that's all emotion. That's fire, right? Fire is thought to be passion, maybe emotion is better for the water signs. They are thought to be the more emotional. And we've got that energy lit up as well that I'll get to in a moment, thanks to Mercury and Pisces. But it is the passion, the adrenaline, the desire of Aries now that is also connecting with this Libra, air, full moon. The sun is standing across the sky, of course, like any full moon stands across the sky from the moon. And the sun is thought to be very strong in the sign of Aries. It's able to bring forward its best qualities, its full brightness, its full light, its full glory. And we've also got Venus there. And Venus is standing across the sky with precision from this full moon. Now, Venus is in the sign opposite its rulership. So Venus rules the sign of Libra. It is connected to the sign of Libra. It in some way encapsulates some of the essence of Libra energy. And considering that Venus is opposite its own sign right now, it's not going to be as strong. It's conceptualized as not able to bring forward its very best qualities. Now, there are reasons for that. I had a conversation with Michael Barwick recently that I will post online, and we were discussing why this would be the case. With Venus representing women and in a fire sign, a sign of strength, a sign of initiative. Why is it that the ancients would conceptualize this as not good? Well, you can put some of these things together, but look out for that. I think that'll be very interesting for a lot of people to watch. But we do have here Venus opposite this full moon, opposite its rulership. And so in some way, this Libra full moon is going to ask us to draw on Venusian qualities, even when it's hard. The emotion of the full moon, of considering another perspective, is also going to ask us to bring love, to bring gentleness, but the kind of gentleness that has power to it, that has passion to it. It asks us to be honest, to connect with our truth. That is a big part of Aries energy. It has to do with knowing what our personal truth is and standing in our personal truth and breathing it. It is the energy of the first breath. It is the energy of life itself. What gives you life? What gives your heart life? Full moons always, always represent truth. They help us to see clearly in the light of the full moon. And very often that truth is our own emotional truth. The truth of what we really feel around a given situation. And in this case, around a given person. All of us in at least one area of life are looking at another person differently, making a choice, making a decision. And that choice is going to be rooted in practicalities in some way, but also love. And I believe love for self is going to be highlighted here. So for many of us out there, this is going to be rooted in relationship. This doesn't have to be a bad thing, far from it. Many relationships under the light of this full moon will grow stronger, more committed. We'll be able to honestly evaluate what we want. We'll be able to look at another person, faults and all. We're not lying to ourselves under this energy. We're not kidding ourselves. We do have hope. We do have faith. There is an idealistic energy outside of this full moon that I'll talk about in a moment with Mercury and Neptune conjunct. But the full moon energy in and of itself is grounded. It is rational. That Venus across the sky, though, has us seeing all parts of a person, of an issue, and evaluating honestly. But that won't necessarily be the case for all people. There are going to be people out there who, based on what they see, will make choices to go in a different direction. Depending on how much you have already invested, will speak to how free you feel to go in different directions. The thing is, though, that Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius is about the future. Saturn is about the awareness that what is happening right now is contributing to the future. That certain things can only go on so long. They either must change or circumstances must change. And so we're being invited to consider our perspectives, ourselves. We're being invited to accept the decisions of others, even when it's hard, even when our own passions would have us going in a different direction. We're being invited to sit with our truth around why it is that we've attracted certain people into our lives and what that says about us and what we believe about beauty and, yes, about love as well. What do we believe about partnership, our ability to attract the kind of love, the kind of partnership, the kind of passion that we desire? Now, I'm focusing on love here, but of course, this can speak to professional alliances. This can speak to business partnerships as well, where we join forces with another for shared prosperity. Where is it working? Where is it not? Where are there heightened expectations that cannot be met? And where is it that perhaps certain alliances have served their purpose? They've gone as far as they're meant to. And we're now ready to grow and go in different directions. These are going to be the issues that are highlighted now for us. And in some cases, this may not necessarily be the easiest truth to accept, but there will be something easy about it. Saturn is trine, after all, this full moon, which means that we are embracing whatever truth we find. We're finding acceptance quickly, and we're finding benefits as well. I once heard a quote that I think really changed the trajectory of my life in many ways, and it wasn't even that long ago that I heard this quote. And the quote was, "There is something worse than staying in a bad relationship for a year. And that is staying in a bad relationship for 1 year and 1 day." That is pretty profound to me. That is an awareness of time. That is what we're seeing here with Saturn. I'm trying to remember where I heard that quote. I'm sorry. If you know where that quote is from, please comment below, because I like to cite people. But it is this particular alignment now that's inviting us to take this into consideration. It's one thing to have invested time, patience, money, love, emotion. It's another thing to continue to invest at the expense of self. But then some investments are worth it. And this particular alignment can reawaken love for a lot of people out there. It can reawaken commitments. It can strengthen commitments, deepen them, strengthen the bonds that we have. And so we will see this energy go in opposite directions, in extremes. And I would invite you to pay attention to your own life, of course, but also to the people around you. This can be a time when we're seeing, yes, some people announcing breakups, but we may also see a lot of relationships becoming more deeply committed. People moving in together, people getting engaged, getting married without necessarily having extensive plans and doing it. Because that's what a full moon inspires. It inspires us to get honest about our truth. And very often that truth is rooted in what we really want. What we really want from others and from ourselves. When we get clear about what we really want from others, then we can be honest with ourselves about whether or not the person we want it from can give it to us. When we're able to be honest on that level, what another person can and cannot give, something incredible happens. And that is we're able to enjoy them more fully. We're able to be more present with them more fully. Because there is that level of acceptance of what they can and cannot do, what they do bring and what they don't. The love that is there, or is it love for self? Is it you that's going to enjoy this moment because you love you, knowing that it doesn't have to be anything more? Or is it that with Saturn, for you, there's got to be something more. There's got to be something real. There's got to be something steady. And if there isn't, many of us are going to walk away. This sense of honesty is rooted in clarity of emotion and clarity of intention. So much of what we do is because of emotion, because we want to feel a certain way. We engage life on a level of emotion. And we forget sometimes that we have all these other faculties as well. And yet it's a full moon. It is emotional. It's air, yes. Air is very detached. It's very intellectual. It's passion, Venus in Aries, right? It's very engaged. It's feeling things. And yet there is this element here that invites us to get in touch with our own unique and profound truth. And it is there that true transformation can take place, because it is us that changes our expectations of others and of ourselves. And it is in that space that we're more able to celebrate the people who are in our lives authentically and honestly so. Now, I promised to talk about Mercury conjunct Neptune in the sign of Pisces. This energy will perfect on Monday in the Americas, on Tuesday in the rest of the world. And of course, Mercury right now is in the sign of Pisces. The way in which traditional astrology frames what's called essential dignities, certain planets being in certain signs, it's a bit of a mixed bag to me. I tend to have a little bit of a resistance to it because I think a lot of that conceptualization is rooted in a particular worldview that might have been dominant to ancient times, to ancient astrologers. Mercury is thought not to be strong in the sign of Pisces, and yet there are plenty of very brilliant people, intellectual people, successful intellectuals who have Mercury in the sign of Pisces. And again, this is something that I spoke of recently with Michael Barwick. I'll be sure to post that this week, that interview or that conversation, like we have, because we're hanging out online. And so Mercury right now in the sign of Pisces is meeting Neptune, modern ruler of Pisces. And this is magnifying the more imaginative qualities of this placement. But it is also seeing with eyes of hope, seeing things very idealistically, perhaps seeing things nostalgically. It is heightened desire that is highlighted here, and us seeing what we want to see sometimes as well. But this energy can also be dissolving, seeing what we need to see so that we allow transitions and changes to take place. I think very intriguing is the fact that on Friday, Mercury will connect with Pluto in a conversation of harmony that astrologers call a sextile. So just as Mercury meets Neptune in the sky, starts moving forward and moving towards this connection with Pluto, and Pluto brings intensity. It magnifies this energy that much more of Mercury in the sign of Pisces. And because Mercury and Neptune together aren't too far away, that Neptunian quality is in the air as well. So there is a lot of hope. We're seeing with eyes of compassion at the very best, or we are seeing with our fears, with our delusions at worst. But the potential is here to be strategic, to be honest, to be thought-provoking, to get to the core of a matter. The potential is here to be honest with ourselves about what is hope, what is fantasy, and what may actually be, and still seeing beauty there. Still being willing to see what is ideal in what otherwise would just be us getting carried away in a moment. Being willing to connect more deeply to what something represents, what is symbolically being expressed, as opposed to what it is that is being literally expressed, literally demonstrated. Because very few things are as they seem on the surface, and very often it is our perception and our willingness to delve into our perception more deeply that can reveal a deeper truth. And I think that is going to be the opportunity that a lot of us are going to have now in at least one area of life, to acknowledge our hope, acknowledge our fear, but then make a plan, actually take some strategic action, actually see what's there, and know that it doesn't have to be fearful. We don't have to lie to ourselves, that what is there is good in and of itself, and that we can find power in it. At the end of the week, Mercury will move into the sign of Aries, helping us to see these very passionate, determined events with greater clarity and to articulate them that much more. Now, midweek, over the course of Tuesday and Wednesday, Venus and the Sun are going to connect with Saturn. I actually see this as harmonious connections that help us to make sense of and bring forward that full moon energy. But it ultimately is going to be, as we get to the end of the week, that things really start to shift for us in more powerful ways once we have another planet moving into the sign of Aries, which will be Mercury as well. In many ways, we are continuing to figure out how to make the most of the revelations and realizations that this full moon will bring. We are figuring out our own truth in the matter and making a decision, making a choice, changing the energy in meaningful ways. What I love about this week for us, well, look, there's so much here. Of course, the full moon really is the star of the show now. It gets the glitz, the glamour, the glory as full moons do. I hope you take time out to gaze at it in some way. I'm very fond of posting full moon pictures on my Instagram, so I hope that you'll check that out. But having said that, it is this week that we get valuable clarity and insight into our alliances with other people, into our one-on-one partnerships, and we accept some truth. For some, this might be a difficult truth. For others, it may be kind of a no-brainer, like, of course, this is how it is. But the pathway forward really is self-respect. That's part of the gifts of Saturn. Saturn encourages us to behave in ways that honor ourselves, honor our energy, honor our effort. And in so doing, we cultivate meaningful self-respect that comes as a result. And so it is this full moon that's going to ask us to bring that very grounded perspective to our alliances with other people, to our relationships. And it isn't that we have to share everything. It isn't that we have to tell other people what we think about them. Very often the truth is just for us, and it's valuable in and of itself for us, because the truth is powerful. The truth changes everything, including dynamics with other people. It is the truth that in this way, once accepted, truly does empower. And empowerment is a type of freedom. That's why they say the truth sets us free. It's because ultimately it is in truth that we find the best of ourselves and the best that we can be. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys. And to prove it to you, here are some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you so much to everybody who likes, subscribes, shares, thumbs up, comments, all of it. It means so much. Thank you. You have my absolute gratitude. And of course, if you would like to know how all of these aspects are playing out in your sky now, based on your sun sign or your rising sign, now you can join NadiyaShahSuperstars.com for as low as just $3 a month. $3 a month gets you access to expanded, exclusive weekly videoscopes for each and every sign. That's $3 a month for all 12 signs. Higher tiers get you things like class passes. They get you consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. I look forward to meeting you there, and link is in the description below. Synchronicity University Spring Series is on right now. The very popular class that I taught this week on the 4th house, part 1, signs on the IC. Well, that is now available for download on my website, NadiyaShah.com or SynchronicityUniversity.com. And we've got lots of amazing classes coming up. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to have the 4th house, part 2. So I hope that you will join me there. Check out other classes this spring as well. The astrology of accusation and scandal. The astrology of other houses as well, like the 7th house, like the 3rd house. And we also are going to have a class on the Galactic Center. So you can sign up for individual classes now at SynchronicityUniversity.com. Link is in the description below. Synchronicity University, traditional techniques for the 21st century astrologer, a very special 5-part class with the one and only Michael Barwick is now on. This is so exciting. Michael Barwick, by popular demand, is going to be back this May. And for as low as just $5 a class, you can choose your tuition rate now at SynchronicityUniversity.com. And so you get to learn about traditional techniques. It's something that so many students have been asking me about. And I thought, you know what, Michael really is the best person to teach this class. We're going to be looking at things like temperament. We're going to be looking at lots. We're going to be looking at joys and debilities. We're going to be looking at essential dignities and so much more. And Michael really is going to be keeping it simple and breaking it down so that no matter what level of astrology you are at, you are going to be able to get some techniques and apply it immediately to your chart. And Michael also likes to use a whole lot of celebrity examples as well. I know I learned so much from him. The Celestial Superpowers class on fixed stars was so incredibly popular. So many of you loved it, and I'm so glad for that. And I know even more are going to love this class on traditional techniques for the 21st century astrologer. So join us now until the end of April. You can choose your tuition rate. as low as just $5 a class. Limited number of scholarships are available as well. Check out the link in the description below. Synchronicity University Speaker Series for May 2021 is now Choose Your Tuition Rate. It is on now, and we have got superstars, like 5 superstars. I always like to mix it up. I like to bring in like new people along with big dogs, but this time it kind of worked out that we have 5 very big superstars that are going to be joining us with 5 very hotly requested topics that I think a lot of you are going to love so much. If you sign up before the end of April, you get to choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class. Can you believe it? So who are some of our amazing speakers? Well, we are going to have Rachel Schwartz. She's going to be teaching Kabbalistic astrology, which is something that a lot of students had asked about. She's going to be teaching us some of the fundamentals to understand the astrology from a Jewish mystical perspective. I'm very excited about this class. We are going to have my friend Armand Diaz. He is one of the leading experts in the astrology of breakups. He's written books on it, including his book Separating Aspects. So he's going to be looking at the astrology of breakups. We will have my friend Samuel L. Reynolds. He is a big dog astrologer teaching on the lunar nodes. The one and only YouTube star, Stormy Grace. She is going to be teaching on magical Mercury retrograde. I know lots of people want to know about that. And then we're going to have Akuta, I hope I'm saying that right, from Nightlight Astrology, also big superstar on YouTube as well, teaching on mystical Saturn. So these are going to be very popular classes, I know, and classes with such leading teachers in the field. You can sign up, did I say, as low as just $5 a class at synchronicityuniversity.com. Link is in the description below. Check out my all-star event coming up at mayoastrology.com. For a limited time, you can use code NAD50 to get 50% off their tuition rate. I think it comes to like £99, some unheard of, very low rate with them. And this really is an all-star weekend. Some of the biggest astrologers alive today are participating in this event at mayoastrology.com. Link is in the description below. I am looking forward to participating in this, and I look forward to meeting you there. And finally, you can get my take on your unique birth chart by logging on to my partnership with Cosmogram, link in the description below. With Cosmogram, you enter your birth data, and within hours, you get a PDF of your birth chart along with my interpretation of the different planetary connections and aspects that are playing out there. This report has been so popular. Thank you so much for your trust. And if you go onto the Cosmogram website using the link below, very often they do have discount codes on their website. So you can apply that and get a discount as well. So again, my partnership with Cosmogram gets you your own unique birth chart, my interpretation of your unique birth chart. Link is in the description below. And thank you. Thank you so much for this moment with you. I hope you enjoyed this magical, mystical, incredible full moon. I know I have been gazing at it, sharing pictures of it, absolutely loving it. It is in the sign of Libra. It helps us to be honest about our alliances with other people. And that ultimately is a beautiful thing. It ensures that our alliances are real and honest and true and worthy of us. And that's what I think is going to be one of the greatest gifts of this time. I hope you absolutely love it. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.